As a manager, if you don't care for your people, you should find a different line of work. Being a manager requires that you care for your people. And when I say care, I mean that you care not just about what they do at work, but you care about them as a person. You care about how they're doing in their personal lives. You care about how they are. You care about their success. You are invested in them as human beings. The days of sort of arm's length impersonal management are gone. The last couple years, we survived a global traumatic experience together by learning how to care for one another in a different way, particularly at work. And your employees expect that to continue. People have always sort of wanted us to care. They've needed us to care, but now they expect us to care. And can you blame them? I mean, think about when you were on the other end of a manager who you knew didn't really care about you. Didn't really care what you did, didn't really care how you showed up, didn't really care about much of anything to do with you at work or in your life, right? It sucks. Having a manager that doesn't care is terrible. It makes you want to leave, and it sort of makes you want to do the bare minimum if you do stick around. Caring may be the most vital ingredient to being a good manager. And that's never been more true than it is today. So that raises the question, if we're committed to being great managers for our people, do we care enough? Do you care enough? And maybe you do. I hope that you do. That's amazing, because you're probably doing a lot of the right things. If you're not sure, then you're probably not. I mean, do you care enough to do the hard work of management? Do you care enough to know about what's going on in your people's lives, both at work and beyond? Do you care enough to really get to know your people? Do you care enough to, create real clarity at work about what's expected? Do you care enough to hold them accountable and be accountable? Do you care enough to trust them even when you maybe aren't sure you should? Do you care enough to have their back even when you're not sure what happened? Do you care enough to assume the best, to give them the benefit of the doubt? Do you care enough? Now, the truth is, we can all care more. Right? We can all care more. Even if you care enough, we can always care more. We can always do better. And so I want to share with you 3 steps that you can take. 3 things that you can do today, starting right now, to up your care game, to make sure that you are caring for your people, that you do care for your people, and that they feel cared about. So here we go. Number one is you have to get your mind right. This is where a lot of managers, I think, go off track before they even get started in their job, is that they have some really backwards assumptions about people. And it's not your fault, it's not their fault, it's not our fault. This is kind of what traditional management handed us. We were told that people had to be motivated to perform. We were told that our job was to kind of coerce people into performance, that if we didn't do our job, that people would not perform. And all of that is mostly nonsense. Because the truth is that people care. People care about keeping their job. People care about doing a good job. People care about succeeding. In fact, I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever met a single person in my life who I believe gets up in the morning and thinks, boy, I hope I really crash and burn today. I hope I fail. I hope I let everybody around me down. I hope I get fired today. Right? I've never met someone like that. I believe every person I have ever met, given the opportunity, given the means, would choose to succeed, would choose to be successful, would choose to perform, to deliver. And so what that means for us as managers is we have to sort of realize that people show up every day wanting to do the job, wanting to be successful, wanting to perform. And if they are not, that's on us. And part of caring is really embracing that. If people aren't succeeding, that's because there's something they need they don't have. There's some guidance they need they don't have. There's some expectations they're not clear about. there's some resource that they need they don't have, there's an obstacle in their way, and guess what? All of that is your job to fix that. If you care enough, you will do that work. That's what caring looks like. That's where it starts, getting your mind right. So that's number one. Number two is you need to get to know your people. This is sort of a hack, right? Because it's not hard to care for your best friend. It's not hard to care for your kids or your family members that you like, because you know them. You know them, you are invested in them, you have a bond with them. And so if you want to be more caring towards your people, get to know them better. Get to know who they are as human beings. How do you do that? Ask questions and listen. Ask them questions about where they grew up. Ask them questions about their family. Ask them questions about what they do for fun. Ask them questions about what they're most proud of in their life. Ask questions. And then listen, get to know them, keep notes, right? Really get to know your people. The more you get to know them as people, the more invested you will feel in them naturally, and the more likely you will be to just show up in a caring way, because it won't be hard. These are people you know. These are people you're invested in. Caring will be a natural byproduct of that. And then finally, number 3 is check in with your people. Checking in is caring in action. It is making sure that you're having the conversations with your people that you most need to be having. Checking in is making sure you understand what's really going on with your people. And there's a whole bunch of ways that you can check in, but the most powerful tool I would offer you is a very simple question that you can use starting right now, starting in your next conversation with one of your people. And it starts with this simple question: how are you today on a scale from 1 to 10? Now, you thought I was going to just say, how are you? How are you will yield, robust responses like fine or busy or okay, right? That tells you nothing. But when you say, how are you, scale from 1 to 10, you get some real information. It doesn't take any longer for them to respond to that question. But when they say 9 or 5 or 2, those are some pretty significant data points. You just learned something, and then you can ask the follow-up question. If they're a 9, you ask them, what's going on? Tell me about what's going well. That sounds great. It sounds like things are going well. What are you excited about right now? If they say a 5, you say, great. So what things are going well? Tell me about that first. Let's start with the positives. And then, what's the gap between you being at a 5 and you being at a 9? Like, what's holding you back? And when they answer that question, listen very intently, because they're telling you what they need. They're telling you how you can support them. And if they're at a 2, that's a cry for help, right? That's an invitation to talk about something that's going on in their lives, whether that's at work or beyond, that is pulling them down, that's slowing them down, that is, probably consuming a lot of their mental or emotional or physical energy. So whether or not that is a work-related issue or a personal issue or anything else, that is the issue that you need to be talking about. So the follow-up is hey, is it something, that 2, that doesn't sound great. It sounds like kind of a rough day. What's going on? Are you comfortable talking about what's happening? Maybe I can help. I would love to help. Right? It's an invitation into that conversation. Ask the prompt, and then be quiet and listen. And the key is, when you have these check-in conversations, is open the conversation, ask the follow-up, listen very intently, and then find a way to help. Find a way to be supportive. Doesn't mean you have to fix the situation. If they're struggling with something, doesn't mean you need to be their psychologist or their counselor or anything else. Your job as a manager is just to be supportive. If they need resources, help them find resources. If they need support that you can't offer, help them find that support. If they need clarity or tools at work, provide those. That is your job as a manager. So check in. So there you go, 3 steps to get you started. Now, certainly there's a lot of other ways that you can demonstrate care, and you should demonstrate care, but get your mind right, get to know your people, check in. You do those 3 things consistently, you will be a caring manager. Your people will most likely come to really love you. They will want to stick around. They will want to do their best for you and the team, and you will have transformed both your experience as a manager and the performance of your team. Care more. See you next time.